This is who you want to build your league around? This is the guy that Adam Silver wants to be the face of the NBA? It is abundantly clear to me at this point, NBA players do not fear the authority of Adam Silver. Say what you want about Roger Goodell. I don't always agree with his decisions. I wish he would stop watering down the league. I wish he would keep the NFL on Sunday and Monday where it belongs. Thursday night football, unmitigated disaster. First 2 months of the NFL season have become unwatchable because NFL teams are barely allowed to practice. The NFL has its own set of problems, but at least we know who's boss. At least we know who is the captain of the ship. Roger Goodell receives a lot of criticism from the mainstream media, but it's strange. Rarely, and I mean rarely, is Adam Silver ever criticized. Adam Silver, I think, is destroying the NBA, and it seems like no one in the mainstream media is willing to call him out for it. The only people afraid of Adam Silver working in the media. I know one thing for damn sure. NBA players don't fear Adam Silver. A couple of weeks ago, this dude had the perfect opportunity to flex his authority. He had the perfect opportunity to show NBA players who's in charge. In the span of 2 weeks, Draymond Green choked Rudy Gobert and he viciously punched Yusuf Nurkic in the face. In both scenarios, it was a cheap shot. It was a bitch move by Draymond Green. Draymond Queen has a long history of violence. If he was doing the same thing on the street, he would be in prison. Well, if he was living in a normal city that, enforces the law, he would be in prison. With the Queen living in the city of rainbows, he would probably be rewarded for his violence. We can't put him in jail. He's a victim. He belongs to marginalized groups. Adam Silver had a chance to send a clear message. I thought Draymond Green should have been banned from the NBA, career over. At minimum, he should have been suspended for the rest of the season. What does Adam Silver do? Dre doesn't need discipline. He needs counseling. Call social worker Shanice. She's an expert when it comes to feelings. I want to see Dre's sensitive side. As is always the case with Adam Silver, he took the easy way out with Draymond Green. He suspended him indefinitely. Translation: once all this blows over, Draymond Green will be back on the NBA court. Last season, after multiple off-the-court problems with Ja Morant, where he was posting videos on Instagram pretending to be a gangster. Gangster. This guy is a gangster. His real name is Demetrius. Ooh, he's a real G. On the court, Ja Morant is one of the most dynamic players in the NBA. David Griffin and the Pelicans, they completely fucked up when they drafted Zion Williamson over Ja Morant. If Ja Morant was playing in New Orleans right now, the Pelicans, they'd be a top 3 seed in the Western Conference. It is abundantly clear at this point that Zion Williamson is limited. At 23 years old, I don't want to say that he's peaked. I don't want to say that his best years are behind him, but it's damn sure looking that way. Zion Williamson doesn't have that killer instinct. He doesn't have that dog in him, that win at all cost mentality. Ja Morant's got it. I mean, this dude is an absolute dog. He thrives in high pressure situations. But Zion and Demetrius, they've got one thing in common. Neither one of them can get the hell out of their own way. Zion can't stay on the court because of injuries. He refuses to develop offensively. He's a complete liability defensively. Ja Morant's got trouble staying on the court because, well, he just refuses to grow up. Last night, the Grizzlies, they were in New Orleans to play the Pelicans. Now, this game was an absolute embarrassment on so many levels. It was an embarrassment for Willie Green, who was possibly the worst in-game coach in the NBA. I am running out of patience with Willie Green. Matter of fact, I think I'm out of patience with Willie Green. I have defended this dude, but even I am out of excuses at this point. Willie Green is not the right coach for this team. Now, this game was an embarrassment to the NBA because, once again, officiating had a massive, massive impact on the outcome of the game. The Pelicans should have won that game last night. The officiating in the final seconds, absolutely horrific. It was the definition of incompetence. Now, I'm not going to blame the loss solely on the officiating, but It damn sure had a huge impact. This was also an embarrassment to the NBA and more specifically to Adam Silver because of the behavior of Ja Morant. During the final seconds of overtime, Ja Morant sealed the game with a dunk and proceeded to taunt Adam Silver. Now, to be fair, that probably wasn't his intention. I highly doubt that he was even thinking about Adam Silver while he was doing it, which is part of the problem. It is clear to me that Ja Morant learned nothing from his 25-game suspension. If I remember correctly, this same thing also happened last season after he returned from being suspended. Ja Morant says all the right things publicly. I've learned from my mistakes. I'm going to be better. I'm denouncing the gangster lifestyle that I have never lived. You know, if Ja Morant is aspiring to be a fake gangster, he should have been a rapper. The rap industry is filled with dudes pretending to be gangster. In that industry, it's encouraged. It's just a form of entertainment, no different than an actor playing a role in a movie. But in the NBA, a league that is trying to recapture the attention of casual fans, a league that promotes itself as family friendly, probably not a good idea to be a fake gangster. After his dunk last night, Ja Morant, he had a special celebration for the crowd in the Smoothie King Center. Watch it for yourself. Now, on the surface, is this really a big deal? Not really. If LeBron James had done this same thing, would it be considered controversial? No, probably not. Now, of course, LeBron James, he wouldn't be stupid enough to do it in the first place. Ja Morant knew exactly what he was doing. This was no accident. He was flaunting his disrespect to Adam Silver. And look, I don't necessarily blame Ja Morant for not respecting Adam Silver. I mean, this dude has done absolutely nothing to earn his respect. The problem here for Ja Morant is the optics. Whether you agree with it or not, optics definitely matter. You're coming off a 25-game suspension for flaunting guns on social media. You're the most important player on your team, one of the most important players in the league. The Grizzlies are one of the worst teams in the NBA without Ja Morant on the floor. Think they were 6-19 while Ja Morant was suspended? Outside of the Spurs, the Grizzlies were the worst team in the Western Conference. As soon as Ja Morant returns, they go on a 4-game winning streak. This is a completely different team in Memphis with Ja Morant on the floor. What's one of the first things that you do when returning from a 25-game suspension? You celebrate a game-sealing dunk by shooting finger guns into the fucking crowd. This is a sign of bad judgment. This is a sign of poor decision-making, immaturity. If Ja Morant has this level of bad judgment on the floor, what kind of judgment do you think he has off the floor? Seems to me it's only a matter of time before Ja Morant does something stupid and gets suspended again. Because of his talent, because he knows the NBA is building around him, I think Ja Morant believes he can do whatever the hell he wants, doesn't have to follow the same rules as everyone else. This movie always has the same ending. Michael Vick thought he was different. He thought he didn't have to follow the same rules. How'd that end for Michael Vick? For a while, Johnny Manziel, most popular athlete in the country. How'd things work out for Johnny Manziel? Pride always comes before the fall. We have seen this happen with elite athletes over and over. And look, I hope it doesn't happen with Ja Morant. I hope someone can get to him. I hope he gets his shit together. The NBA is trying to make him the face of the league. His return game last Tuesday night, the NBA treated the return of Ja Morant like he was their savior. The broadcast team on TNT ran out of chapstick. For almost 3 hours, their face was planted firmly on Ja Morant's ass. Ja Morant is great. Ja Morant is amazing. How I wish I could be that ball in the beautiful hands of Ja Morant. It was absolutely disgusting. It was the Ja Morant show on TNT. No other player was mentioned. No other player on either team was praised. It was nonstop talk about Ja Morant. The problem for the NBA, you can't build your league around a player that is constantly getting into trouble. It's a bad look for the league, and this league can't afford any more negative publicity. Public perception of the NBA is already low. The behavior of Ja Morant just makes things even worse. I didn't notice this watching the game last night. I don't think Bally caught it. Looks like this footage was filmed by someone in the arena. Again, If this was any other player, wouldn't be a big deal. Because it's Ja Morant, it makes it a big deal. He has learned nothing from his suspension. The players in this league, they don't fear Adam Silver. You think David Stern would put up with this shit? Remember the Malice in the Palace back in 2004? David Stern suspended Jermaine O'Neal, I think it was 25, maybe 35 games. He suspended Jermaine O'Neal for defending himself when a fan ran onto the court. David Stern did not fuck around. And then you've got Adam Silver. The commissioner who has given all power to the players. The commissioner who commands zero respect. Seriously, if Ja Morant had any respect for Adam Silver, do you think he does that celebration last night? There are a million different ways that Ja Morant could have celebrated, but he chose that specific celebration, the one celebration that he knew would cause controversy. If he had any respect for Adam Silver, if he feared any kind of consequences for his actions, do you think Ja Morant does that last night? Ja Morant knows nothing is going to happen. The only reason I think he was suspended last season was because there was so much backlash. Adam Silver was basically forced into action. I'm telling you. NBA players have no fear of Adam Silver. But give me your thoughts on this. On the surface, this celebration by Ja Morant really isn't a big deal, but because of who it is, because of everything that's happened in the past, it makes this celebration controversial. Does this prove that Ja Morant doesn't fear Adam Silver? Do you think NBA players in general have little respect, little fear of Adam Silver? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. I appreciate you guys and your continued support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.